tropical rainstorm in the Caribbean is forming into a full-on tropical cyclone, and it's setting its sights on the southeastern U.S. And just the other day, a massive tornado outbreak swept through portions of Texas, Oklahoma, and Arkansas. Also, around the time of filming this, it's currently 70 degrees in portions of Maine and Nova Scotia. Did I mention it's November? All of these things are coming together to form a very weird storm that's about to cause some major and really unique problems across the U.S. And in this video, we're going to talk about how those problems could impact you. This, to me, is the strangest and most important thing to talk about first. Subtropical storm Nicole formed last night, and it's swinging its way towards Florida while gaining strength. It's currently expected to make landfall north of Miami sometime early Thursday morning, with high-end tropical storm force winds and a lot of heavy rainfall. But the possibility of this turning into a full-on hurricane before it makes landfall is still on the table. And here's the thing, this ain't no normal tropical storm. This is a pretty weird one. Like I said earlier, we're calling this subtropical storm Nicole. You see, a normal tropical storm develops largely from the bottom up. Warm tropical waters from the ocean evaporate into the atmosphere and then condense into thunderstorms. When the water condenses into clouds and storms, it releases a lot of heat energy. This constant release of heat throughout the atmosphere lowers the pressure since warm air is less dense. The storms then start spinning around that low pressure and form a tropical system. Subtropical storms, however, form from the top down. They often start with a low in the upper levels that form as a result of air compressing from being colder and more dense. This decreases the distance between pressure levels in the vertical and essentially brings cold air down from the top of the troposphere. This upper level low pressure system associated with Nicole is allowing for drier air to be sucked up by the system, and it's causing the storm to look like a comma head. And this is one of the biggest defining features of a subtropical storm. However, there's still a good amount of convection and thunderstorm development going on within the system due to the warmer than average November sea surface temperatures. This could promote some tropical development under the upper level low that allows the storm to get even stronger and a lot more interesting. For this reason, there's still a lot of uncertainty as to what's going to happen next. If it continues to develop much more on the subtropical side, its wind field is going to be very large, especially to its north. Remember the comma head shape here, a lot of that energy is going to be on the top of it. This will bring tropical storm force to hurricane force winds all up and down the southeast coast. However, if the storm starts to suck up a lot of those warmer than average sea surface temperatures and all that hurricane juice, the latent heat it releases could erode the cold upper level low, and thus it could become more of a traditional tropical system. This would decrease the size of the wind field, but it would mean a lot more energy focused into a smaller area, more like a traditional hurricane. As you can see, the storm does look like it's going to try to develop more from the bottom up as it gets closer to Florida. This means we could see a higher end tropical storm or low end hurricane making landfall. This is going to bring strong winds, coastal flooding, and probably a lot of embedded tornadoes to much of the peninsula of Florida all the way up the southeastern coast. There's really no concern right now for this to go through rapid intensification and become a major hurricane, but widespread negative effects will be felt from the Bahamas and all up and down the eastern coast of Florida, and people around here do need to start preparing right now. Go ahead and prepare for hurricane force winds, moderate storm surge, and the potential for fast-moving tropical tornadoes. Also, even farther into the center of the Florida peninsula, prepare for flooding as several inches of rain could fall in a very short period of time. Outside of the most likely impact zone, there's going to be millions of people up and down the eastern seaboard of the U.S. that feel the effects of this storm. Also, the way this storm is ejecting is just setting us up for another big storm that's trying to sweep in from the west. And this one is no joke. I really think everyone in America should be paying attention to what this storm is going to be doing to the weather pattern. I also think everyone in America should be thinking about their investments. And it's a daggone good thing we've got a great sponsor for that today. Masterworks, the elite alternative asset. Y'all, the world is an expensive place, and I'm sure you know this because you live in it. Everybody's portfolio could use a boost in today's economy. And that's where today's sponsor, Masterworks, comes in. You see, the folks at Masterworks take famous paintings from people like Pablo Picasso and turn them into public offerings. They then go on their website and sell shares of said paintings. After the painting has accumulated some value, Masterworks sells the arts and distributes the returns to all the investors. And there's no need to worry about inflation because physical art has little to no correlation to stocks and bonds. In fact, the art market actually does better in times of inflation. And since this is such an exciting opportunity to diversify your portfolio, there is a wait list right now. Masterworks has set up a special deal for my viewers only. All you have to do is click the link in my description and you're going to be able to completely skip that wait list. With over 500,000 users on the platform, Masterworks wants you to know that it's your turn. This is good stuff, guys. You're going to love it. And now let's get back into the video. As you can see, after this tropical system is is finished with Florida. It's going to go out into the Gulf of Mexico for a bit, pick up some more steam, and then slingshot across the East Coast, causing all kinds of problems through the weekend. One of the main issues will come from this large field of onshore winds from the Carolinas all the way up into New England. This is going to lead to some really choppy seas, beach erosion, rip currents, and possibly some minor coastal flooding. Additionally, rain and thunderstorms will be an issue from Georgia and the Carolinas on Thursday and Friday, and then even up into the mid-Atlantic and northeast through the rest of the weekend. And depending on the strength of the storm and its exact placement, we could be talking about a warm sector severe weather outbreak for one of these areas. As of right now, though, it doesn't look too intense. It's just something we have to keep an eye on. This is definitely, however, going to bring a ton of rain to a lot of the Northeast. Latest models are showing anywhere from 2 to 4 inches falling wherever the heaviest precipitation sets up. So if you live anywhere in a flood-prone area in the red or orange here, make sure you're preparing now. And beyond that, we are not done. I have been talking about this pending pattern flip and a war between warm and cold air for a while, and we are really starting to see it come to life right in front of our eyes. And as you can see from the latest Climate Prediction Center outlooks, pretty much all meteorologists are agreeing with me now that cold air is going to be dominant over much of the US as we get deeper into the month. See, I'm right sometimes. I'm also right about how much you like this video right now. If you do, please do me a huge favor and slap that like button. It helps me out a lot more than what anybody realizes. Also, there's like 60% of you that are watching right now that are not subscribed. Hit the subscribe button, help me get to 800,000. And in addition to the cold air coming in, I've been talking a lot about how these big storms that are forming on our warm and cold air boundary will be instrumental in eventually delivering that cold air to the masses. Currently, the models are showing another one of these big storms forming, and this one looks like it's going to be the one. It comes into the West Coast starting tomorrow and then barrels across the Rockies towards the central US. This will likely lead to severe weather, gusty winds, and a ton of snow for somebody. In fact, the Storm Prediction Center is seeing this as well, and they've went ahead and issued a day 4 15% risk for severe weather in portions of Kansas, Missouri, Nebraska, Iowa, and Minnesota. Latest forecast models are showing this system being very dynamic, bringing really heavy snow to the Sierras, Rockies, and Northern Plains, and then a powerhouse of a windstorm and potential severe weather outbreak to the Midwest. I mean, just look at this latest Euro model. It's showing maybe up to 2 feet of snow across portions of North Dakota and South Dakota through Saturday. You're gonna wanna make sure you have your Yala meters for that one, y'all. And there's really not a whole lot else I can say about this other than it's gonna be a doozy, and we're gonna have a lot more information tomorrow and the next day. So I'm gonna have pretty consistent updates here on the channel as I get new information. But behind that storm, a wall of cold air is expected to race south, moving a lot of that compiled tropical moisture and warmth out of the way. When that happens, things are gonna get wild for an extended period of time. There is a real possibility that we're gonna see some more severe weather and maybe even some widespread early November snow for many of us, even in the South, as we get deeper into the month. But we gotta take it one storm at a time. I'm gonna have another video very soon with all the juicy details on that. A super huge shout out to all of our members over here. Thank you guys so much for being such a big part of the channel. If you haven't subscribed to Ryan Hall Y'all Extra yet, I almost forgot the name of it, make sure you do that. There's a link in the description. There's a button somewhere here. I post a little bit more frequently on that channel without all of the edits and thought. I just kind of start talking. So if you want more Ryan Hall Y'all content, that's where you can get it. Once again, that's Ryan Hall Y'all Extra. You can just type that into the search bar too, and you're gonna find it. Thank you guys for being here. I'll see you very soon. Goodbye. Woo, woo, woo.